Hi, welcome back to Lakeside Quilt Making Arts, Dawn at the Lake. It is going to be a bad lighting video because this is the best I've got. I have my light right here. It's actually attached to the phone and it's on a tripod. I promised you guys that I would do at least one video per day and showing you what my stitching is for the day. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to stitch on the way from Huntsville to Charlotte. And it's because I got a seat with leg room right there at the bulkhead, and that means that there wasn't anything for me to put my suitcase under, my bags, and so they wouldn't allow me hardly anything. I negotiated though, and I got my, I grabbed my unicorn quilt real quick, but I didn't have the threads on me that I wanted to have to do what I did. So I stitched, and you know, I'm not in love with it, but I'm not in love with that at all, but I'm also not opposed to covering it up and letting it just be thicker in that spot. At least I was busy kind of stitching while I was on the plane, and that did make me feel a little bit like I was being committed to my commitment, you know, like I was trying to keep my commitment to myself and to you guys. It's mostly to myself, but I promised I would bring you guys on for the journey because I know all of you do the same thing. That's one of the beautiful things about some hand stitching, whether it's hand quilting or it is just some embroidery work or some piecing, whatever it is. You can take it with you. You can put it on a plane. You can do it in the car, wherever. Now, I can't look down. Well, when I look down, it's the part of my neck that's being used is right here and my upper thoracic, and it's not good for what parts of my neck is not fused for me to look down, especially while there's any bumps. So I can't do that. I can't look down and do a lot of things when I'm stitching. I wore my neck brace on this trip because I will need my neck brace on the trip back after the surgery, just because these, you know, this area is going to be cut, so everything's going to be weak, and I've got instabilities right through here. So I was comfortable sewing, doing some big stitching, but I was not comfortable doing anything that was going to make me really lean into it, like my finer applique work, and I'm fine with that. And then at the airport, I barely had time to grab anything to eat, and then it was time to board, so I didn't do anything there either. And I just kind of gave in. I just read my book, the improv book that I've been showing you guys. What was that guy's name? I cannot remember it. I don't want to walk away from the screen to go and look for it, but Inspire Improv, I think it's called. I think the last name is Mason. Anyway, it's a good book, and what I got to read on the flight here was great. So what I'm going to do now is, since I've got my light set up, and I've got better light for seeing this than what you've got to see me. If I put this right on me, I get washed out, so it's just bad lighting, and that's just the best it's going to be. I'm going to just, because I'm worn thin from traveling all day, I'm just going to finish my one apple that I keep on wanting to call a tomato. I'm going to finish, because I think it's from here to here that needs to get done, and the stem. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to get myself cleaned up and chilling in bed. And at that point, if I have a second wind, I might start working on some of the other pieces that I've got going on. We'll see. My son doesn't even get to the airport until midnight. So ideally, I'd like to take a cat nap and then wait up for him, but we'll see. You know, so sorry. This is real. I'm not editing anything, you know. This is real life right now, because I can't edit anything while I'm away. So, I forget what I was saying. He can get a key down at the concierge and, you know, come on up without me being awake, but I do want to be awake when he gets here. He's flying all the way from California to make this surgery happen for me, and then coming home and spending time with me. So the least I can do is try to be awake when the young man gets, oh, I said young man, but he's going to be 38 in November. But you know, I'm his mama, so he's always a young man, right? So this is all I'm doing. I'm gonna just focus on the small, you know, the more refined stitching that requires good visibility while I'm in the hotel room. And to facilitate that, I brought my Apple TV. So I got my cables. I don't think I brought my remote. Oh dear, my son's gonna be disappointed because I told him I had it all. I had a problem with my TV just before I left. My TV went black. It would play sound, but it would not play any visuals. And so I had to kind of yank around trying to get the I played around with both of the remotes. And I guess I took the Apple remote and set it aside. Oh dear. That's gonna be a big disappointment. I wonder if there's an Apple store in the Atlanta airport, because that's where he is right now. I may have to tell him, you guys don't care about all that. You only care about the stitching. It has been a long day, my friends. It's been a really long day. And I will get to a stopping point before I quit. I will at least have this Apple done, and I will most likely, after I get all showered and everything, want to start piecing on something else. Whatever I get done, I will make a community post about. If you don't know what the community post is, that's where it's kind of like a Facebook post. So you go to my channel, and the Facebook posts, the community posts are actually shown to you in your feed, but they're not videos, they're just photos. And then I can make some commentary about that photo. So I'll let you know what I get done, whether it's just this or it's this and something else. I'll try to show that before I go to sleep tonight. I'm kind of amazed at how well this day's gone. I need to make this quick because I don't know how long it would take this video to upload when I'm not on good Wi-Fi. I don't know what the Wi-Fi is going to be like here. Last time I was in this hotel, it was before it got remodeled, and this is the Holiday Inn Express on Spring Street in Charleston. It's right beside of a Publix. I came here March 22nd of 2021. Well, actually, it's before that, like March 18th or something, but I had surgery on my spinal cord on March 22nd, 2021. And when I came on the Tuesday before that, I came, or the Wednesday, yeah, it was the Wednesday before the surgery was, I think, Monday, something like that. Anyway, I went to the Publix, and, you know, clearly I was having surgery on my spinal cord, so, you know, the mobility thing was a factor. It was difficult walking there. I didn't have my wheelchair yet. My son got that for me the next summer. He got me a motorized wheelchair. We all expected that surgery was going to do more for me than it did. We didn't know that my spinal cord was tethered in two places. For most people with my condition, the spinal cord is just tethered at the tip, but mine was tethered differently, and I'll save that for another conversation if you want to know. But anyway, my point is, one of the hardest things I've ever done physically was going to this Publix over here and then bringing some groceries back. I was literally dragging the right side of my body coming back. I got there okay. It wasn't easy, but it was so arduous coming back. I didn't leave the hotel until after I was going to I didn't leave the hotel again until I was going to surgery, because it was, there was no use in trying. I could barely make it down to get some food in the lobby after that. You know, I had double hip braces, I had a back brace, and I had a cane, you know, the kind with the 4 pods on it. And I think about that every time I have issues with my mobility, which I still do, but they're not because of my spinal cord. But today, the reason I'm bringing this up is today, my watch tells me I have done 9,180 steps. And I not only walked to that very same Publix and walked back into this very same hotel, but I did it twice because I got over there and I had left my wallet in the room. So I had to go, go back over there and get my stuff paid for and bring it back. But, and I don't say all that to bring undue attention to me, but I do say it to bring attention to, something about being full circle and how awesome it feels whenever you get to push through something and then see that you've gotten better. We don't always get that though, do we? Sometimes we don't get better. Like I still have some real issues. And if I was looking at where I am now, if I was looking into the future 10 years ago and I was looking at who I am now, I would be bothered by who I am now. But because of what all I went through, I look at who I am now and I feel like I'm a spring chicken and I'm a, marathon runner and gym rat. Perspective is everything. But through all this, I always had an attitude about just, pacing yourself and keeping things in motion and going. And that's the attitude that I'm taking to my sewing and that's why I use the, the hashtag moving the needle. Just do what we can, when we can, how we can, so that we don't have remorse about it or regrets about it. The Uber driver that brought me here, he mentioned that he was from here and the only time he lived anywhere else was when he was at the Grand Canyon for a couple of months. Said he'd hiked it, and I told him I had too, and that was kind of interesting that we could share that. But we started talking about regrets and the things that you have regrets for, and he's not flown since just because he has no interest in going anywhere. He's not flown since a month before 9/11, and because he just doesn't want to go anywhere. He doesn't do anything like that, but he has a very full life. And that's the way I feel. Like I don't go, I've been to Italy, I've been to Hawaii, I've been to other places, I've been to New York and other places in the country. I don't have to go and do other travels. The things that I have regrets for is anytime I have an opportunity to do something. And I know we're way off topic, but this has been going on in my head and you're the only ones here to talk to at the moment. So you can turn me off if you're not interested. But where I have regrets is if I've had an opportunity to do something and I didn't take it. Whether it was something I knew I had the opportunity for or not. I mean, that's different, right? Sometimes we didn't know, like there's 1,000 things I would have done differently as a mother, but I didn't know to do any better. I swear if we had Instagram whenever I was a young mother, I would have parented a whole lot differently than I did. And I hope you guys understand that statement. If you have any interest in improving your parenting skills, even as an older parent, Instagram, just go and follow some people who are talking about that and you'll learn a lot. Anyway, I mean, there's regrets about things that we didn't even know how to do any differently, or we didn't know we had an opportunity. That's one thing, right? But if you know you have an opportunity and you know you're capable of taking that opportunity and you don't, that's when you can have some regrets. But are we supposed to let our regrets hold us up and snag us up from making future progress? No. Just because we skipped out on taking an opportunity, regardless of whatever it is, for me, it was that Grand Canyon trip. I had been homeschooling my children and they were going back into public school and I was gonna have to go to work. And so I knew I wanted to do one big something before I went to work. And I'm glad I did, because there's no way I could have done that, once I had left the TV station, because my health started a nosedive right as soon as I left there. And, so I'm glad I went, because that's something I could never do now. But are there 1,000 million other things that I haven't done, other trips I haven't taken, other things I haven't done? Yeah. You can't get snagged up by that. The only other way I have to say that, you just can't get snagged up by what you didn't do. Just if you had an opportunity and the desire to do something, and it's a good thing to do, take that opportunity, because you don't know when you can't. The woman that went with me on that trip, her name was Jacqueline, and she passed away last year. So she was a friend of my mother's, but her age-wise, she was between my mom and I. I was going to take that trip by myself. I hiked down from the North Kaibab down to the south, down to the river, and then back up to the north. And that's the taller side of the canyon. I was going to do it by myself, but Jacqueline came along because she had planned a trip and then it got canceled, and so she was, geared up and ready to go. And I was so glad that she went. But it was quite curious that both of us were just eager to take that opportunity to go to the Grand Canyon and hike it. And we both ended up with some severe neurological problems. Hers was really severe, and she just passed away from it last year. I think it was last spring, I think. These last 2 years have been kind of a blur because I had 3 surgeries in 9 months' time. And that's why I'm sharing so much about my learning journey, my stitching learning journey with you guys, because I am putting my life together and I'm using quilting to do it, because quilting is my therapy, and quilting is something I can do, something I can sustainably, consistently do, whether it's the piecing or the quilting or learning the long arm. There's so much I can do. I have some disabilities yet, but there's so much I can do. I know how to pace myself, and I can get a whole lot done, a whole lot. And that's, I think, a worthwhile thing to share. But also, I hope YouTube will be a income producing thing for me, and also be a reason to hold myself accountable. That if I'm accountable, that I need to show you something, whether it's to pick a petal or it's the blockheads or whatever it is, then that calls my name to it a little bit more whenever I might, move on to do something else, because I got, what's the word I'm looking for? I got distracted from everything because I had to close up the duplex and get it sold and all that. Like right now, I've got, all these major projects that I was going fast and furious on, and now I'm having to do a surgery. Okay, so getting back to those things, maybe I could say, well, the piece and quilt sampler, I only had 2 blocks done. Maybe I just move on to something else. But no, I committed to you guys that I was doing it. So that's going to help me, kind of shepherd my attention back to it. And so that's another good part of the YouTube channel. And it keeps me humble. And it keeps me sometimes a little too humble, because I can see how poorly I'm doing on things, but also motivated, and that's a good thing too. So there's multiple reasons why I'm doing the channel. I don't have expertise in this area to share, or I would do the channel differently. I would do it more tutorial. I would do it more teaching. But all I've got to offer you is my story, my Learn With Me journey. And so that's what we're here for. And this has been 18 minutes. I'm going to call this done. My friends, thank you for being here, encouraging me, motivating me. All the well wishes are greatly appreciated. I'm in good hands with this neurosurgeon and this anesthesia team. Somebody, I can't recall the name of the viewer right now, but commented about how no surgery is a little surgery. And I'll comment about that in another video, because I do very much know that no surgery, anytime you go under anesthesia, is a big deal. With my condition, anytime that someone else is moving my body, it is potentially a big deal, because my health took a big dive after a surgery I had in 2017. And I believe it was because of how I was handled while I was in surgery. So I do understand that every surgery, even if it's not as big as some of the bigger ones, it's still a big deal. Flying here was a big deal. Spending money on all this is a big deal. I'd rather spend it on a long arm, heaven's sakes. All right, my friends, y'all have a great day. Keep moving the needle on your projects. I'm going to keep moving the needle on mine, and then get cleaned up and show you what I got done. We'll talk to you later. Thanks so much again. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.